Hello everyone, and welcome back to my crafting world. This is Anna. I wanted to show you guys the leaves that I had been making for for my stash. So I had gotten last month with my discount through ASC Supplies. I had gotten the 3D Leafy Accents shaping mold, and I said I was going to make some leaves with it, and that's awesome. I mean, I just love that mold. And then I also had gotten the die, the die that'll cut out all those leaves, and I already had the stamp set. So here's the stamp set. And guys, I try to clean off my stamp set right after I use it, but this one I had used stays on ink, and stays on doesn't really come off, so that's why that one looks like that. But I try to clean mine right after I use them so that they are always clean and ready to go. So I wanted to show you what I had made last night. I was playing around with colors, and this one right here, and I know it's hard to pick up, at least from my end here. It's hard to pick up the glitter, but oh my gosh, these are gorgeous. So I had put this one, I stamped it and colored it. And when I was coloring it, I thought, well, let me play around with some of the colors. So I added a little yellow to this one. And then this one is doesn't have any yellow. This is all green. And then this one is stamped with this one's the one that's stamped with the stays on. No, that one is stamped with some forest moss. That's why that one looks a little bit different. And then this one is also just all green. So it just depends on how dark your outline is as to what they're gonna look like in the end. All of these are stamped with the pine needles. So I mean, I like the color and I like the green as well. It's not too dark. And this one, I just must have put extra ink on there. I don't know. But I still think it came out really, really nice. So guys, this, the molds are just so awesome. I did get, with my discount again, I did get this month the Wild Rose collection. I'll have to show you that one when I start working on that one. So let me move that aside, and I have them here separate. Like I said, I made quite a few of them last night. Let me, I don't want to mess these up, so I am going to put them away. And we're going to make some together so that you can see how easy it is and how gorgeous they turned out. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips as well. Things that I have noticed when I make use the mold. Okay, so what you need to do first, let me get my stamp. You have to take your stamp and put it on a block. Now, I made a bunch at one time, so I used a stamping platform. So the very first thing you do is you're going to ink up your stamp, your rubber stamp. And if you don't have like a stamping platform, make sure you get enough of this ink on your, and I'm using the pine needles distress ink. So get plenty, make sure that your whole stamp is covered. I don't know if that helps any, but make sure that the entire stamp is covered with ink, okay? Because if not, it's not gonna look quite right. All right, so the first thing we are gonna do is we are going to ink up, and this is I used 110 pound cardstock for my leaves, just because I think it'll hold up better. Okay, so there we go. Oh, that's a beautiful impression. Okay, let me clean this off real quick. Okay, now the next thing you need to do, so I'm going to tell you one thing. After I stamped my image, I let it dry a little bit. And yeah, you want to let it dry a little bit. And let me show you why. If you start stamping on it right away, this is what happens. Your crisp, pretty crisp lines, and that's all I did, guys. That's all I did to color the ones that were all green. So if you start coloring in right away, let me show you. Your image kind of gets fuzzy because your bottom layer, which is the stamped image, it kind of, you know, blends in and you kind of blend it out. So I waited until my image was dry. So I stamped everything I was going to stamp, and then I waited for my image to dry, okay, before I went ahead and colored it. So let me color this one just to show you the difference. This one has been drying. Now this one is dry. And if I color in, and the pressure I'm using is still the same as the other one. I'm not taking it easy on this one. You know, and it's up to you what color green you want to use. And I will tell you though, when you color your image, make sure you go outside the line, because sometimes we don't place our die perfectly on the stamped image, and you get a white, you'll get a white edge, and you know, white edges aren't very pretty. So anyway, if you'll see, this one is kind of blurry. I don't know if you can really tell, and this image is a lot crisper than this one. Even though this one is darker, this one is a lot crisper. Okay, so after you stamp your image, I kind of let it dry just a little. No, not for the next step. You don't have to let it dry. I don't. So not for the cutting. So next you take your, let me take some, a little bit of washi. Just take a couple pieces of washi. And then you layer your image, your stamp above your image. You know, as close to the, you know, centered as you can. Okay. So as you can see, not all of it, you know, the die is not the exact same as your image. You're going to have some spots, tiny little spots where it doesn't cover your image. So just, you know, center it the best that you can. And then I put my washi on there, make sure it doesn't move around. And then I put it in my cutter, okay, in my die cut cutter. Okay, so I ran it through my machine, and then you just take it out. There you go. And see what I mean about the white edges? It's not an exact, you know, I'm sure it's impossible to get an exact cut on there. But anyway, there's our cut. This one's the one that I had just colored in. Okay, so after you have it colored in or cut, I need to mold it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the mold, and this is our mold. And of course, when you're making them, of course you're going to make, you know, more at the same time. So you're going to fill up your mold. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. Okay, and then your mold, open it up, and you see these little notches here? Those go on the little notches on your bottom mold, okay? And this one doesn't have a notch. That means that one goes to this corner that does not have a notch. That's how they line up perfectly. So you take your image that you just cut out. Here it is. So you take your image that you just cut out, and this one, I cut it out last night. It's been drying. I didn't want to put a wet one in here just because I don't want the ink to run or anything like that. So this one's totally dry. So you take your image, painted side or colored side down, and you put it in your mold, okay? And then you take some water and you just give it a really quick That's all it needs, just one little pump of water. And then you take your mold, and what I do to line them up is I line up the bottoms first to where my mold, it isn't down all the way, but my bottoms are hooked. My bottoms are hooked into the little notch there. So then once I know it's hooked to the notch, I put it in, okay? I press it down, and this is ready to go through our machine. Now, to put this one through our machine, you do not need your stamping platform for this. You take one of your cutting plates, okay? And then you take the other cutting plate, place it on the top. So one on the top, one on the bottom, and you run this through your machine this way, okay? Without the stamping, or without the platform. So let me run this through the machine. Okay, so I run it through the machine, and you know, it runs so, you know, smoothly through there. You kind of think, well, is it pressing anything down? Yes, it is. So remember, this is the side that didn't have the little notch in there. That's how I ran it through the machine. So that's how it came out. So I pick it up from there, okay? And then there's nothing on this side. And then here is our leaf. It is nice and molded. So you know, there we go. So you just turn your mold over and pull it out, or let it drop out, and there we go, guys. There is your stamp. Your leaf mold, your leaf molded and everything. After that, I let it dry a little bit because I don't want to lose any of the little creases, any of the fold lines, and it is still just a little bit damp, so I do let it dry a little bit. But after it dries, I take, now this one's already dry. After it dries, I take a little bit of glue, and I tried the art glitter glue, although the art glitter glue dries a little too fast for this step. So I take a brush and a little bit of glue, and I'm using tacky glue. So I take a little bit of tacky glue, and again, I had more glue. You know, the more you're making, the more glue you need. So I am only making one, so we're only gonna get a little bit of this glue. So you take your glue, put it this way, and I took a brush. You know, this is just an old makeup brush that I never used, and I started to brush the glue onto the leaves. And that's why I let it dry completely, because I don't want to remove any of the color that's on there. So if you do it while it's pretty damp, you're going to remove some of that color. So I am just brushing the glue onto the leaves, and I'm trying to do this in a hurry so it doesn't dry on me. So you got to move a little bit quick, and hopefully I move quick enough. And then you take your glitter, and this is just ultra fine glitter, and it's in the color Snow. So you take it and you sprinkle some on your leaf. There you go. And I let them dry before I shook the extra glitter off. But there you go, guys. And that's not as transparent yet because the glue is still wet on there. It's still wet, so it will still look a little bit better than that, like the ones I showed you at the beginning. So they turn out gorgeous. You saw the ones that I made and showed you at the beginning. But anyway, yeah, I think one of the tricks is that you need a glue that is not going to dry really, really fast. You need a glue that's pretty tacky. And for me, that tacky glue, Aleene's tacky glue, did great. And you want to wait till they're dry. I waited for the stamp to dry. I waited for the ink to dry, and then for the actual mold spritz of water that I put in there, it's just a light mist. And from my understanding, there is starch in paper. So when you mist it with water, it's going to activate that starch, and then it's going to mold your piece, and then it's going to dry again, and that starch is going to dry it the way it is. So that's my understanding. So that's why I wait for, before I actually put the glitter on there, I wait, a little bit for it to dry. So yeah, it doesn't lose its shape. And guys, I love the way these turned out. And I believe they have some heartfelt creation, the dye, the mold, and I think I ordered the wildflower collection, the wild rose collection. So I'm going to make some of those in the coming days, and I'm going to put something together because this is gorgeous. And you don't have to color these in. You can cut the leaves, or even not even stamp them. You can cut them in green and then just put them in your mold if you want, and then they'll be shaped. But I just love the way this looks because it's got all that detail on there. Just love it. Guys, I know this was a short video. It's a short tutorial just to show you how it works. And again, I will leave my discount code in the description box. If they're on sale, do not use the code. The code is only valid on things that are not on sale. If you have 2 orders, they will combine the 2 orders. Just let them know in the note to seller. Let them know you have 2 orders, and they will combine both orders and give you back whatever shipping is due back. They don't charge you shipping at all if your order totals $75 or more. So you'll get all your shipping back. But anyway, sell on one ticket and non-sale items with the discount code on the other. All right, guys. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to everybody later. And you all have a great day, and thank you for watching. Love you all.